Um, today's session is mostly today's session is about Pope Francis's message to all youth around the world in the closing mass of World Youth Day in Brazil. So whether you are in Brazil or not, this is a message for all of you. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to kind of dissect it a bit. Now, before you start yawning, I promise you it'll be as interactive as possible. Which brings me to the next part. I need volunteers for a little activity. Okay. Now, I know what you're thinking. It's like, what are people going to think about me? But please don't flatter yourself. Everyone's busy thinking about themselves. Okay, so right now, I'm going to do a little activity which I think it was tried out in NASA or something. I need 3 strapping young boys. Please come up. Under the age of 85. Okay, great. We have 1. Okay, now from this side. I'll just do a general gaze on your... So you'll get a hint of who I'm pointing at. Huh? Aren't the girls feeling happy? I did say girls. Stay tuned. Okay. 1. I need 1 more. Settle! I was just saying hi, but okay, come. Okay, great. For those of you all who are listening to this recording, you should have been here. No. I'm kidding. No, I need to kind of get by. Okay, bye. But yeah, good job. Really, really good job. I'm kidding. I knew you would do it. But so that's an interesting exercise, yeah? Yes? You were laughing, so I guess it was interesting on some level. But what do you think we are trying to say here? What struck you about the exercise? What made you start thinking? Yeah, after you got the jokes and everything. You understood what was happening and stuff. But what made you? Is there anything that made you think? That made you focus back to you? Anything?
You have to let go of some of the. You have to let go of some things.
Okay. What else? Thank you, Tabby.
I think we're occupied with too many things that we forget the bigger picture.
All right. Okay. What else? Remember, there were 3 people in this activity. Not one.
Spreading the good news was difficult because you're focused on balancing. It's like a balancing act, trying to hold on to what we have without letting go and still share the good news.
You guys agree on some level? Okay, fine. We'll come back to that. So we're going to speak about Pope Francis's message to the youth. And I'll tell you how it's all connected, to the activity. Okay, so he spoke about 3 points, 3 ideas per se. So one of the ideas was serve. All right. Can you guys see Avadan? Can you read from there? You're able to? Yeah, Alan. What about you? I'm sorry. I really thought it was big enough. Sorry. I'll read it out anyway. Yeah. Yeah, and in a bit. Maybe I'll. This is the. Oh, you want me to put the first one, huh? Okay. Better? Okay, good. I just want you to read that, yeah? This is what Pope Francis says to you, and I will read it out for you. Serve. The opening words of the psalm that we proclaimed are, "Sing to the Lord a new song." What is this new song? It does not consist of words. It is not a melody. It is the song of your life. It is allowing our life to be identified with that of Jesus. It is sharing His sentiments, His thoughts, His actions. And the life of Jesus is a life for others. It is a life of service. In our second reading today, but this was after the Mass, yeah? St. Paul says, "I have made myself a slave to all, that I might win the more." 1 Corinthians 9:19. In order to proclaim Jesus, Paul made himself a slave to all. Evangelizing means bearing personal witness to the love of God. It is overcoming our own selfishness. It is serving by bending down to wash the feet of our brethren, as Jesus did. So that is a part of the message. By the way, how many of us have read that message? Were able to? Great, good, cool. For the rest of us, I urge you, just type WYD 2013 HOMILY, and it'll take you to several links that give you this message, okay? The homily of World Youth Day 2013. You'll get this message. It is quite short. It's concise. So it's quite digestible. Yeah, in other words, because I mean, for some of us who've been reading Pope Benedict's letters, although they are simple, it can get a bit heavy. But here Pope Francis, he's so interactive. He really wants you to understand, the treasures of the church. Now, so we are all called to serve. Yeah, we are all of us called to serve. So no Christian is an island. Again, Pope Francis wrote this in a recent article on the church as our mother. He says no Christian is an island. All right. What we tend to forget in our trying to work out our salvation with fear and trembling is that we are not alone. That there are millions and millions and millions of other people on this planet who are also working out their salvation, in some form or fashion. We are here to serve each other. So, sing to the Lord a new song. Every time I hear that, I always remember nice, beautiful songs that go along with it, and I'm thinking, sing. And up until this point, I was saying, sing to the Lord a new song meant every morning I get up, I got to start it with a fresh perspective on life, etc., 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 which is not wrong. That's great. But sing to the Lord a new song is referring to the song of your life. Okay? Where is your life today? Is it in harmony or is it sounding dissonant? Is it sounding out of tune? All right? Now, this new song, as he said, it is not a melody, it is a song of your life. It is allowing our life to be identified with that of Jesus's. Now, if you read through Jesus's life, what do you get from that? Do you get the impression that he was sitting on a big chair somewhere and saying, you do this, you do that? Or was he traveling from town to town, healing the brokenhearted, healing the lepers, curing the sick, driving out demons? And it wasn't 5-day working week to 2-day weekend. It was continuous. It was 24/7. He hardly had time for himself. Jesus got up very early in the morning to go and pray, but the people went looking for him. He hardly had time for himself. Okay? He was constantly at the service of mankind. This is the Creator. We are the creatures. Now, if the Creator, if the boss is working hard in the fields, will the servants be taking it easy? Short answer, no. So, and St. Paul goes on to say, I've made myself a slave for all. That's how I can make Jesus present. If you are waiting for your life to be wonderful, that Jesus is so good, He gave me so many nice things, He gave me a job, He gave me a wife, He gave me lots and lots and lots and lots of money, He gave me stocks in NASA or something, I don't know. But if you're waiting for that to evangelize, there's no point. You'll be waiting forever then. You need to evangelize as you are. Evangelize is not about, I got to tell you that I won the lottery because I prayed. No. Evangelizing is about, Jesus came to me in my darkest hour, and I realized that He has always been there. And I need you to know that too. Okay? It is about bearing personal witness. Okay, let's say you read some, usually the news, CNN, BBC, whatever, Star News. What kind of news do they give us generally, positive or negative? Yeah. So the positive news are very far and few between, So can you give an example of a positive news headline that flashed across the screen recently? Just anything. Okay, this is where you answer, because depending on what you answer, I can go ahead with this. Pardon? You just put the Luya and Hallelujah. But, yeah, great. So that's positive news. Now compare that to a personal experience. A personal experience where someone gifted me a Z10. Okay? What holds more ground? The fact, okay, BBM is now on Android. Great. But I just got a new phone, man. It's not just any phone, it's a Z10. Are you going to keep it to yourself? Again, what I'm trying to point out is something that happens to you, all right? Something personal, something intimate that happens to you will affect you more than you reading what happened to somebody else or to a general population. Okay? So you spreading the words, what you saw on the news, just to create conversation is more of a pastime for you, whereas you sharing a piece of you, sitting somebody, usually you'll sit one person down and tell, I got to tell you something. This is what happened for me. It's really good stuff. I just got a job opportunity from one of the top companies in the region. This is big, but keep it hush-hush. And then as you get the interview, you start spreading the word. Listen, I got a job opportunity from a big company. So I'm telling you as well, and you and you and you. And then it goes and it becomes bigger. You can't contain yourself. He says, I speak for Jesus. I got a job. Seriously. And it's a good thing. And you really want to speak for Jesus. You want to say, Jesus, work this out for me. And Cyril is an example of that today. Because I've known Cyril for that many years. I've seen what he's gone through. I've seen how long he's had to travel and all. And then this thing just literally, it's landed in his lap, and praise God for that. It's come to him. Yeah? So that's an example. And here he came up and he spoke about it. That's bearing personal witness. Yeah? So that is what evangelizing is. Now, when you have a Jesus experience, don't worry if you haven't already. All right? The very fact that you are here means that you are destined for a Jesus experience. All of us are here to meet Jesus. And Jesus is, for want of a better word, dying to meet you. Dying to move you, dying to touch you, dying to tell you that I have been here all along. Not here in the room, but here beside you. I have always been beside you. Okay? You are not the odd one out. So, how can we do that? By bearing personal witness to each other, by being a slave to all. Now, those who remember Father Michael's session, how many of you were here for Father Michael's session? Right. Remember the analogy of heaven and hell? Right. So he says hell, for those of you all who are not here, hell is basically this. You have this big pot of amazing, delicious, can't keep your hands off it, food. Okay? And you can eat the food with these long spoons. But that's the problem. They are long spoons. So hell is dipping into that and not being able to feed yourself. Just can't. And you're so close. But you just can't. Okay? Heaven is the same situation. The food, the spoons, but they feed themselves. Feed each other, sorry. Like how we had in the activity. Feed each other. That's heaven. Alright? So, yeah, so by being a slave to all, now, think about this. Yeah. So I'll go back to the activity now. Sorry. So feeding each other, correct? Now, Gladwin, Cyril, and Elton. Okay. Did you all experience problems in passing the salvation across? Easier first time. Cyril, did you have a problem? Second time. Why did you have a problem? Okay.
There was too many things on it,
So?
a little bit difficult to pass it easily.
Yeah, but did I ever say that you could not put the things down? Okay. But now, wait, no. You'll say, wait. Are you saying that we should not pay our phone bills? Did I ever say that you should put everything down? Think about it. Now, just think, go back to your life. Just go back to your life. Now you know what I'm talking about. I brought out bills, I brought out work, I brought out I brought out the gym, everything else. What else in your life is there? What is preventing you from going to the person who sits next to you at work? What is it? Fear? Fear of the authorities? Or you're proselytizing? Who said that you have to go and tell him to be a Christian? What is evangelizing? Okay, something simpler than that? Simpler? Yeah, good. All good answers. Very correct. What else? Close. Okay. Okay, making God present. Making God present. Making Jesus present. Like, hi, how are you, Eddie? How are things going with you? Eldridge, how are things going with you? Cotty, what's happening? Just being there. The person next to you, sitting next to you at work. The person sitting right here next to you. You don't know what that person is going through. Probably do, but maybe not as much as he'd like. The person at work, the person on the street, anybody that you come across is an opportunity to evangelize. Anybody. Not just within the four walls of this compound. When you go for a party, when you're out there, yeah, everyone is, into it and everything. But there will be an opportunity because God keeps giving you these opportunities. That ball was an opportunity. And He keeps giving you these opportunities again and again and again. All right? Somewhere in the party, you will have to sit down somewhere to eat food or something. And then one guy that you don't know will come and sit down next to you because there's simply no place anywhere else. But he'll come and sit next to you and you go, hi. Food's good, yeah. Anyway, later. And you that was an opportunity. How do you know? How do you, or are you just waiting to move out of there? Now, please, I am no saint. I too am guilty of things like that, more so than you can ever believe. So this is why I'm saying this is a message for all of us. Serve. You are not there for yourself. You're not here for yourself. It is not about you. This life is not about you. Okay? Because years after you are dead, people will talk about you and say, yeah, lovely, you good guy and everything, but that's it. That's done. You can't do anything else. Yeah? So you need to start serving. Yeah? This is what we are called to do. So it's not restricted to just the poor and the needy. It's great if you go and visit the prisons and things like that, but it probably comes closer to home. Your family, the people at work, your friends, your possibly who you call your best friend, maybe that person needs evangelizing as well. Just because a person comes to church doesn't mean that they're okay. Yeah? So it's a 24/7 process. You need to keep going at it. You need to keep looking for an opportunity to serve. So moving on. So let's go to the next point. That was serve, okay? We all had a good look at that. Now this is the next point in the message. Do not be afraid. Some people might think, I have no particular preparation. How can I go and proclaim the gospel? Again, Gladwin, thank you for your praise and worship. You mentioned Jeremiah. Beautiful quote from Jeremiah. I alone know the plans I have for you. Plans for your salvation, not for woe. Yeah? And he said this to Jeremiah, who said, Alas, Lord, I do not know how to speak, for I am only a youth. Sounds familiar? I can't speak. I can't come up to the mic. I can't. So many people. I can't. And then God says the same thing to you. If you are ever asked to come up to speak, I'm not talking about the next time I tell you, okay, now you're going to come and talk to everyone here. But what I'm trying to say is, the next time you're presented with a challenge, God tells you, do not be afraid, I am with you. Isaiah 41:10. Do not be afraid, for I am with you to deliver you. Jeremiah. Okay, He is with us. Do not be afraid when we go to proclaim Christ. It is He Himself who goes before us and guides us. When He sent His disciples on mission, He promised, I am with you always. Remember that? Go to the corners of the earth, baptizing in the name of the Father and the Son of the Holy Spirit. And know this, that I am with you even until the end of the age. All right? I am with you always. And this is also true for us. Jesus does not leave us alone. If you are not praying, if the God thing is not your thing, it doesn't matter. Jesus does not leave you alone. He waits for you. But unless you start that connection with Him, things are not going to be happening. Yeah? But He is still with you. It doesn't mean that He goes away. And I've often been told by my spiritual guide, when I'd go through some of the darkest times in my life, those are the times when God is closest. And it's not an email forward thing. All right? It's truth. Those are the times that God carries me. All right? Forget footprints in the sand. Yes, lovely and everything. But it is truth. You have to understand that. Look beyond those words on the email. It is truth, and I promise you, if you start believing that, your darkness will not go away, but it will become more tolerable. All right? So, do not be afraid. When you are faced with a challenge, now what's the challenge? It's to go out there, right? The challenge is, the next time, tomorrow is work, the first day of work. How many of us are going to work tomorrow? Yeah. I bet you're already thinking about that colleague who annoys you. That's fine. I've already thought about this 5 times during the session up until this point. But I'm thinking, if I go and I just say, good morning, he might give me a weird look. But I'll say, just saying good morning. Go back to my desk. And I'll say, good evening, good night, whatever. Just, that's a start, right? Yeah? So that's what we're talking about. So if you're one of the following people who say, I am not equipped, I cannot sing, I don't know, or I cannot read the Bible, I don't read the Bible often, I'm afraid of the authorities, I'm awkward when I speak, I cannot dance, I can't play football or basketball as well as they, and my personal favorite, I'm a worthless sinner. God can't use me. Just can't. Because if He tries using me, it's going to become a bigger mess than it already is. It's best if I just sit in the corner and watch. And I'll say, yeah, great. You go, God. Kind of thing. No. Yeah? So, Now, Jeremiah too had apprehension. Now, when he said, Lord, I cannot speak, now this is not a situation where he says, I can't speak to a group of 50. He was complaining about, I can't speak to an entire town. Probably had 100,000 people in there. What am I going to say? And then the Lord said to him, you don't worry. I will put the words in your mouth that you need to speak. Just go. All right? Hang on to that word as well. So, again, no one said that we had the sole responsibility of evangelizing the world. All right? Jesus did not say one of you go, but all of you go. We are sent together. Dear young friends, be aware of the companionship of the whole church and also the communion of the saints on this mission. When we face challenges together, then we are strong. We discover resources we did not know we had. And Jesus did not call the apostles to live in isolation. He called them to form a group, a community. You can get the help of someone. If you try to reach out to someone, get the help of someone. Say, listen, I'm trying to get through to this guy. Can you just pray for me? Can you help me out there? What should I say to him? Or go to your spiritual director. Have a spiritual director. Yeah? To bounce things off. So, like if you're going to a priest, Father, I need to talk to this guy about this. What do you think? Do you think I'm being, too forward, too whatever? This is how we build a community. Yeah, we get more people to pray. The more people praying, the more power that there will be present. The more the power of the Holy Spirit will flow. Yeah? So, support each other. We are all on the same team. All right? It's not like I'll shoot my own goal. We're all aiming for the same goal. All right? So, when we face challenges, we are aware of innumerable resources. And we become a team like Justice League, X-Men, Care Bears, Glow Friends. Why did I write that? Autobots, Magnificent Seven, Famous Five, Konoha Gakure. Anime friends only. Okay, Three Idiots. And all that. So, carry on, Pope Francis says. Carry on and do not be afraid. Trust that God will be beside you. You take the leap first, all right? Just take the leap. You're saying, I cannot trust. I'm having a problem with trusting the Lord. What if He doesn't come to my aid? So I'm here. Oh, God, where are you? You brought me here. Now what should I do? That's fine. You'll be put in those situations. Just take the leap. And I take this from the latest Superman movie that I watched, Man of Steel, where the priest, funnily enough, tells him, he says, maybe you need to just take the leap. The trust part comes later. Yeah? Faith is not something you can develop like a muscle, yeah? It's a gift. Pray for that gift. Okay. Moving on, just one click. One. Okay. Go is the third point that I'd like to end with this evening. Faith is a flame that grows stronger the more it is shared and passed on, so that everyone may know, love, and confess Jesus Christ, the Lord of life and history. Recently, we went to Brazil, and Caroline and I were put with this family. And I took this quote from Blessed John Paul II's letter, where he says, faith that is shared... No, let me read. Yeah. Faith that is shared is strengthened. Okay? I translated it into Portuguese, and I inscribed it on this gift that we gave to this family. And as we presented it, it was a totally different experience, because they read it and they knew what we were talking. They were a family of three, as we are a family of three. And as they received it, we had already spent some time together, and there's a huge language barrier. The computer was our best friend, because we were using Google Translate half the time. But in spite of that, in what we were and what they were, we just understood each other. It was Jesus that brought us closer to each other. And when we gifted this to them and they read that, that just became alive. They understood and they agreed. It says, yes, when faith is shared, when we share what we are, our love, it strengthens in a huge way. Sorry. Okay, yeah. So, So, faith is a flame that grows stronger the more it is shared and passed on. All right? So, Jesus, now go. Jesus commanded us to go. Next. Careful though, Jesus did not say, if you would like to, if you have the time. But he said, go and make disciples of all nations. Now, if your boss tells you, listen, Eddie, I need that presentation by Sunday, you're less likely to say, I'll think about it. If you do say that, I want your job, But you get what I'm saying. Now, this is Jesus, the big boss, who made your boss. Okay? And he said, go and make disciples of all nations. He didn't say if you'd like to. If you have the time, could you think? No. He said, go. All right? Sharing the experience of faith, bearing witness to the faith, proclaiming the gospel. This is a command that the Lord entrusts to the whole church, and that includes you. But it is not a command it's not a command from a bully. The Lord is not a bully. He respects your free choice more than you know. The reason you are here, so far and not dead is because he respects your free choice. Okay? Because if he was a bully and if you broke one of the commandments, and when you break the commandments, it is an infinite justice to an infinite good. The wages of sin are death. But you're still here. Just give you a chance again and again and again to exercise your free will to make the right choice. All right? So, he gives this command out of love because he's concerned about the person sitting next to you. Go make a disciple. Make a disciple. Make a disciple. Help that person out. Reach out. I gave you health. Go out to that person who doesn't have health. I gave you money. I gave you wealth. I gave you everything that you need to survive. Go. Make disciples. Let them know that I am here and I can help them too. Yeah? Tell them that there's a man on the cross. A beautiful quote by Archbishop Fulton Sheen. Go out into the world. Tell them that there's a man on the cross. So that's what this is about. Jesus does not treat us as slaves. He respects our free choice. And that is a terrifying thing. Okay? He respects our free choice all the way to hell. So you die and you look at God and you know who God is and you want God, but you still say, no, I want hell. God respects your choice. He says, okay, I'm going to stop you. But he'll try everything to help you reconsider. But in the end, he won't say, no, you can't do heaven. He will not do that. Yeah, he respects you. And that's the terrifying thing. Okay, so remember that. So where are we to go next? Where does Jesus send us? There are no borders, no limits. He sends us to everyone. The gospel is for everyone, not just for some. All right? No bar. Like I said, every person you meet is an opportunity to make Jesus present. This is a beautiful thing. Every person has a right to know and love God. Every person has a right to know about God. If that person doesn't know about God, then somebody's not doing his or her job. Every person has a right to know. Because again, it's the story of the sheep and the goats. Yeah, Lord, where did we, where were you, when were you naked? When were you alone? When were you hungry? Every person has a right to know God, yeah? St. Paul exclaimed, next, woe to me if I do not preach the gospel. Woe to me if I do not preach the gospel. I do not mean take a Bible out, go to the Gospel of Luke, and go to the Gospel of Matthew, go to 5. Blessed are the... Don't start the Beatitudes, don't try and... I'm not saying that. But the gospel is what? Gospel means good news. What is the good news? That Jesus is alive. Jesus is alive. Jesus is walking with us. There's a dark world out there. There's chaos going on. Evil has an extremely ugly face. And we get glimpses of it every day, whether it's at work, it's on the television, it's in the news, when we go out, when we're trying to hail a cab, when we're standing in the queue, and we waited hours and hours in the immigration line, and you reach the guy, and he gets up and he just goes for his coffee break, and you want to scream murder. But the good news is this, that there is a world where there's none of this. And Jesus created that world. This is the kingdom of God. That's what it's all about. And St. Paul understood this. He says, this is not where I want to be. And I got to tell everybody else that this is not where they want to be. There is a world that Jesus has got for us. Okay, it's eternity. It is a beautiful place. Yeah? I read recently, I tend to think that heaven is, probably from watching too many cartoons, but heaven is in the clouds with the harps and the angel wings and the halo. But I've read recently, I think it was EWTN, where, heaven will be a physical place. Spirits do not, they're not matter. They do not occupy a space because they're not material. So what happens right at the end when everything is over? We get united with our bodies. We profess it in the creed. I believe in the resurrection of the body, right? Right? Yes. So resurrection not of him. We know he resurrected. We're talking about our resurrection. We will come back together. Okay, in case you didn't know that. Okay, that's a spoiler. But that's real. And therefore, the new heaven, the new earth will be a physical place. Because our bodies will come back together. Our bodies are matter, right? And again, our spirits will unite. But we will have a glorified body. We will therefore occupy a physical place. Yeah? So, again, there is a beautiful place to look forward to. Beautiful place where Jesus walks with us. And that is what we look forward to. That is the good news. And it starts here and now. Yeah? We prep for this. All this is prepping for the life to come. So, yes, and Pope Francis mentioned a great apostle of Brazil, Blessed Jose de Anchieta, set off on the mission when he was only 19 years old. Do you know what the best tool is for evangelizing the young? Another young person. Okay? This is the path to follow. All of you under the age of 85. Okay? So, and to conclude, I'm sorry I went over time. It's about 5 minutes over time, but it's the last slide. To conclude, 3 points. Go, because Jesus commanded us to. We are to reach to every corner of the earth. Okay? Next. Do not be afraid, because Jesus goes before us. He equips us. He never leaves us. And finally, serve, because this is our calling. To look out for the deepest good of the other. To wash the feet of our brethren, just as Jesus did. Because we share in the life of Jesus. And Jesus' life is a life of service. Okay? Thank you, and I do hope you will take some time. Do take some time to read the message of the Holy Father. Okay, Google World Youth Day, that is WYD 2013 homily, HOMILY, and you will get a few links to the website. All right? And read through it. He really speaks. He really speaks to you as he writes. Yeah? Thank you. Amen.